में तू ही तो बसता तुम बिन ओ मेरे बाबा अब दिल कहीं ना लगता
Shanti, Sister Jayanti. Om Shanti and welcome to everyone. So gentlemen, I was thinking that we used to, in the past, want blessings from our elders for everything. When we went to school, when we got our first report card, when we got our first job, when we got our first salary, or anything. We would always go to our elders, and even if we didn't touch their feet, but at least take their blessings. And in this fast-paced, high-tech, autonomous world, we've lost all sight of that. But it's so important. And even Dadi used to say to us that at least, if nothing else, dua pao, like at least take some blessings from the people. So this is what I remember from Dadi. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Om Shanti Aruna, Om Shanti to the whole family who have joined us. And yes, a very, very special Murli again. As we study all these Murlis, we've been studying them from the 1969 Murlis till now, 88. And you can just see how profound they are and how much power they give to us as we reflect on them and imbibe them in our lives. And so we have a huge, huge treasure store that's waiting to be discovered by some and waiting to be re-experienced by some. But it's quite amazing how much the ocean of knowledge has shared with us. And this particular Murli, Baba's telling us how to be able to experience blessings and increase those blessings and become the bestower of blessings. And Baba used this word chatrak, and sometimes we've described it as the oyster bird that's waiting for the water to drop in. And actually somebody shared with me an insight into the real story of the chatrak bird. It is a real bird. It's not a mythological creature. And its speciality is that it sits with its beak open for the rainwater to come. Mostly birds will drink whatever water, you put in a pot, or they go to the pond or the river and they take the water. But the chatrik bird will wait for the rain to fall with the beak open so that that rainwater gets taken in by the chatrik bird. It's a type of cuckoo, a species of cuckoo. So, and chatrik is the Hindi name for this particular bird. So that was an interesting discovery just a couple of weeks ago. And Baba said that he loves seeing all his chatrik birds. And it's still the time when it's the double foreigners who are there. And of course, others too. But the bulk of the people from abroad, Baba's children. And within that, Baba was saying how we were like the chatrik birds waiting both to experience the knowledge that Baba was going to share, but also to be able to experience the meeting with Baba. And the first step, as we hear the knowledge and we are feeling that nectar reach us, it quenches the thirst we have had for many, 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 many births. We've been wanting to hear the truth, the sweetness of real knowledge, the reality. And as we take in that sweetness, we absorb it within ourselves and we become like the Father, the embodiment of knowledge. And then again, following in the Father's footsteps, we become the ones who not just hear the magic music, but each one of us can play the magic flute and share that music with others. Murlidhar, Baba gave us all that beautiful title. And so we are all the musicians playing the sweet flute of knowledge. And then we used to go to Madhuban, not just for hearing the Gyan, but to experience that meeting with Baba. And somehow, even in the last instance, when we were in Madhuban, last February, March, maybe, when they would play the video, the sense of being in Baba's presence was very, very powerful in Madhuban. We see the same videos here also, but there's a little bit of a different feeling. And there, the magic of Madhuban, the tapasya of Madhuban, the atmosphere of Madhuban. And it doesn't feel as if this is a Murli Baba spoke 15 years ago, but it feels as if really Baba is speaking that Murli to us now. So that experience of meeting the beloved and being absorbed in the love of one, and that sense of belonging to one and no one else in the world. I'm sure that when we experience that drishti from Baba, really, literally, nobody else existed in the world, just me and Baba, totally lost in that ocean of love. And of course, then the next step, when you have that experience of none but one, belonging to one, lost in that love, then what you want to do is to follow in the Father's footsteps and become like the Father. And becoming like the Father, Baba defined firstly as being able to have all the powers that the Almighty has. Just imagine Baba gifting us with all the powers that He has. And so there's that might, and there's also that sense of being completely light. And truly, this was our experience in Madhuban. And I hope that those who haven't yet been to Madhuban will have that opportunity whenever that happens. But I'm sure you'll have that same experience that all of us did, because Baba doesn't deprive anyone. Baba wants all his children to be able to have very special experiences. Then Baba went on further to ask the question, in what other ways are you following the Father? Surely the Father's task is your task also. And yes, Baba's big, big task, the benefactor for the whole world. In fact, this word Shiva, Kalyankari, the translation of this word is the benefactor. And so world benefactor, And so do I also have nothing but good feelings and good wishes for all to be able to bring benefit to everybody in the world. And so Baba sharing that title and reminding us that this is also our task. And then, like Arunaben was mentioning, we used to seek blessings at every step, and not just a new job and first paycheck and things like this, but within families, it was the custom that the elder of the family was there and everybody would go to the elder first thing in the morning. And interesting, the boys used to touch the feet of the elders, and girls weren't expected to do that at all. They would just go and give a hug, or they would take, in Lokik terms, it wouldn't be called drishti, but they would just meet the elders with a smile and probably get a hug. The brides of the home would always go and touch the feet of the elders, and the sons, even the adult sons, would touch the feet of the elders. And this was a daily ceremony. I won't call it a ritual, but it was one that taught humility, one that made people aware that blessings are important. And so here also, when we would go anywhere, even through the day, Daddy would say, well, go to Baba's room and take blessings from Baba. Before you begin anything else, take blessings from Baba. And of course, there were the sweet days, and we would go to Daddy and take her blessings for whatever it is we were about to do. But this idea of blessings from seniors, from elders, and Baba especially mentioned Father and Guru, and the traditional blessings that were given were, may you have a long life, may you have many sons, may you be wealthy, may you be happy. These were the traditional blessings that used to be given. And Baba explaining the context of all of this in Sangam Yuga. And so it comes in the Sakar Murlis also sometimes, may you have many sons. And we laugh, and of course we understand that Baba's talking about the mouth-born progeny, the children created through Gyan. But in fact, Avyakt Bapdada took it in a wider way, a more universal way. And Baba spoke about not just the creator of 2 or 4 sons or children, but becoming the master creator of all creation. And so to be able to stand on top of the tree, and just like you have the picture of the Kalpa tree, and Brahma Baba, Pitashri Brahma Prajapita Brahma is standing on top of the tree. And so that idea that when the tree matures and is able to bear fruit, then out of the fruits come the seeds. And so right to the top of the tree is the seed, that which is going to rejuvenate and bring about the new tree again. But in Lokik terms also, once the fruits have appeared, then the fruits are able to provide the seed. And that then is the flourishing and the continuity in nature. And so it was a very lovely image of each one of us being the master creator. And when you're the seed on top of the tree, then the sense of belonging to the whole tree. I don't just belong to this branch, I don't just belong to this branch, but the whole tree belongs to me and I belong to the whole tree. And so Baba was talking about how when there's a sense of belonging in the unlimited, then what do? You have nothing but loving, good wishes and pure feelings for every single one of the creation and even nature itself. And so the master creators able to supply the sunshine, able to supply the water, whatever is needed for the whole of creation to flourish. And of course, I was reading into that, our responsibility to our creation yes, our responsibility to the human family, but also our responsibility to nature. And to what extent are we fulfilling that responsibility? Now, that goes off into a very different subject, but today Baba just simply reminding us that just like the sun up above is able to give light, and that energizes and gives strength to the whole tree. In the same way, when you children, the master seed, the master creators connected to the creator, are able to be in that highest consciousness, then you're able to radiate the light of the virtues, the light of the powers, the light of cooperation, the light of good wishes to the whole of creation, the human family, all other species, all aspects of nature. And so being the ones who have many sons, many children, and you are in fact the master creator. And Baba also talking about the blessing of long life. And yes, we've often had these discussions that when Baba's talking about this, what Baba's talking about is actually the stage where from the moment you come to Baba, you maintain this highest consciousness of your new birth, your new character, your new sanskars, and this continues till the task of establishment is over. And so long life as a Brahmin definitely refers to this Brahmin life that we enjoy and all the attainments of the Brahmin life that we enjoy. But Baba's also aware that sometimes souls slip off and they join the old world, or at times our own old sanskars become manifest rather than our new Brahman qualities. And in that stage, it is as if I've died from my Brahman life. And yes, I can again come back, but it'll be different. It won't be with that same power, perhaps. But Baba describing how sometimes there's a stage of unconsciousness, a coma. And that stage is when the soul becomes unaware of Brahman life. And then maybe they are still following a routine, but without that life or that awareness or that energy of Brahman life, or that stage where Maya has really come. And if Maya repeatedly comes, it's like with an illness that keeps repeating, and the illness repeatedly comes. And of course, it weakens the whole system tremendously. And that illness then means that you're bedridden. And for Baba's children, what does that mean? If I've allowed myself to be overtaken by Maya, Maya comes and I deal with it and it waves goodbye, that's different. But where Maya actually has victory over me. And if I keep allowing that habit to repeat, definitely the soul loses a huge amount of power. And then it's like when you're sick, you don't feel like eating, you don't feel like doing anything. And in terms of our Brahman life, the soul feels very disheartened, not well at all. And in that moment, yoga, well, my buddhi isn't stable, so I'm not enjoying yoga. I'm hearing the gyan, but I'm not taking a lot of benefit from it. And I'm not really appreciating the beauty of it. Dharana, well, it's a routine that I'm following, sort of, superficially, not with my heart, not with love, or maybe it's just namesake, or maybe it's just simply to show others that, yeah, I'm here, I'm still a Brahmin, but nothing is being done with the heart. And so Baba is saying, don't just take the blessings of long life, also take the blessings of having a healthy life. So the soul being healthy and free from illness, free from obstacles. Baba was using both terms, free from obstacles, free from illness. And in this case, I think it's the stage where it's the obstacles of my own inner demons. And so struggling with those, and they become an obstacle. Sometimes I think it's because of this one or because of that one. But no, it's my own inner demons that have left me disheartened and feeling very weak. And so the description of what it means to have a long life, a healthy life, free from disease, free from illness. And Baba also mentioning the wealth of Brahman life, the true treasure of Brahman life, the gyan that we receive, the amazing jewels that Baba has given us, but also all the powers that Baba has given us. These are also my treasures. So am I able to experience the wealth, the treasures that Baba is giving me? And Baba then also talking about how, what is the key to actually using blessings in my life? And Baba mentioned something that's actually very simple. Remember the blessing that's appropriate at the right time. So for example, if Maya's coming in front of me in the form of attachment, let me recognize that this is my own inner demon, and I'm not going to let this conquer me. I'm going to take a step up above so that I can be with Baba and not allow the strings of attachment to pull me. There's a very lovely point that Baba made in the creation part, the master creator. The master creator is not going to be attracted by anything of the creation, but the master creator is just constantly going to have good wishes for all. So if Maya comes, it's an illness that I have to deal with it now, with the remembrance, with the awareness of the blessing of the power that Baba has given me, and the long life and the freedom from illness that Baba wants me to have. And so remembering the appropriate blessing in the appropriate situation so that you're able to use it and have victory. And of course, if I've experimented with it once and I'm successful, next time it's going to be even easier and easier and easier. And so Baba's saying that that blessing continues to grow. The fruits of the blessing continue to grow. And as you continue to experience blessings, you become the one who's also able to share those blessings with others, not just in words, but through your own example. And Baba also mentioning how, Baba talks about 21 births. And so the blessing that we get in Sangam Yuga is a little bit different to the blessing that we experience in the Golden Age. And so, for example, again, Baba giving the blessing of happiness. The happiness that we have today is a very different quality to the happiness of the Golden Age, because today my happiness is having found God, or God having found me, the meeting with God, the joy and the love of that meeting, the joy of the treasures of knowledge that Baba's giving me, the joy of understanding, the joy of the family. All of these things are the very special happiness of Sangam Yuga. And of course, looking at the world out there, we see the contrast of the souls who are going through a huge amount of depression and worry and anxiety. And 2020, and this is a statistic found by research, a huge number of the population in most countries actually experience depression and stress and anxiety, more so in 2020 than in the past 15 years that they've been keeping this record. So it's a reality. Kali Yuga and the peak of Kali Yuga and the things that are happening in Kali Yuga are really very intense. And here's Baba giving us joy and happiness and the ability to share that happiness and take away the pain and sorrow of others also. Satyug, yes, we'll be happy and it'll be natural, it'll be joyful, it'll be a dance, but the happiness of Sangam Yuga is a very special one. And so each blessing has a different form in Sangam Yuga. And then, yes, in the Golden Age, Silver Age, it gradually changes form. But the one in Sangam Yuga, of course, is the foundation, the first one, and the one that determines the rest of half the cycle, but also, in fact, of the whole cycle. Baba then also spoke about how Bhagats, when they're tired of searching, then all they want is a blessing. And of course, with Dadi being here or in Madhuban, we would see it happen so often, more so in London, because in Madhuban, I usually saw her with Brahmins, but especially in London, where sometimes Bhagat souls would come. And they didn't want to make effort. They didn't want to study the course or follow purity or have yoga. What they wanted was her hand of blessings. Daddy, just give me your blessings. And they'd sit with their head bowed in front of her and they wouldn't move until she put her hand on their head. And of course, the memorial of Sangam Yuga and the blessings that we have 24 hours a day, the hand of Srimad on our head. And so that is our protection, that is our blessing. To the extent that I'm following Srimad, to that extent, Baba's hand of blessings is on my head, and I know I'm going to be safe and secure and all will be well. And I'm going to have all blessings from Baba. And so, connected with this, Baba gave a very lovely definition of a speciality of Brahman angel life. And Baba said, just as the deities are ignorant of the word desire, they don't know what is desire. Everything is fulfilled already. And of course, Baba wants us to reach that stage now, not just have it then. We'll have it then if we have it today. But Baba said the special blessing of Sangam Yuga for the angels or the Brahmins who are to become the angels is that there is no such word as difficult. Beautiful. I really love that a lot because so often we think, oh, it's a huge task of world transformation. Okay, never mind world transformation. To transform my sanskars, that's a big task in itself. Oh, it's difficult, it's a challenge. And Baba's saying, no, it's not. Just simply remember the hand of blessings on your head. The hand of Srimad is the hand of blessings. And if you remember that, just keep following Srimad. Whoosh. The problems will disappear, the difficulties will get resolved, the solution will be found, and it'll be a life in which really you're flying with blessings. Baba felt a bit sorry for us and said, you've been working so hard, sometimes laboring too much. And so now just experience being sustained by blessings and you'll keep flying. And Baba also was a little bit amused that children pay a lot of attention and sometimes it becomes a bit too much and so it becomes tension. And that's not what Baba wants for us. Baba doesn't want us to labor hard, but find that happy balance, the medium between the state in which there's too much effort, too intense, and the state of carelessness. Well, no matter what, nobody's watching me, nobody's listening to me. I can do what I want. It's okay. I'll get there finally when. So I was saying that let there be attention, but let it be a natural state of attention so that it's not tension. If there's tension, it's going to generate more tension. But the natural state of attention, Baba said how if you really understand something, and also if you practice something, it becomes very natural. Think about when you first learned to drive and you were tense. You had to pay attention to the brake. You had to pay attention to this. You had to keep your eye on the mirror, the front mirror, the back mirror, all of these things. And then you understood what you needed to do. You understood how to manage things. And then today you're driving and there's no tension in it. There's attention. That's why you're safe. And other road users are safe. If you weren't giving it attention, you wouldn't be safe. But you're giving it very natural attention. You've understood what you need to do. You've experienced what's the best practice, and you're doing it. And you're doing it easily and naturally. And so you don't have to think, should it be like this? Should I not do this? Should I do this? Should I eat this? Should I not? You know, that's too much labor. But you've understood, and now let Srimad and that understanding guide you. And it will become more and more natural, and it'll be easy. You don't have to labor for it at all. It'll become a natural way of life based on truth, based on wisdom, and the results will be there. You'll be able to see the results in your life right now. The blessings will come to you today. You've experienced the one who bestows knowledge. You've experienced the one who bestows fortune. Now experience the one who's bestowing blessings. So you're able to just keep flying and moving forward fast to your destination. So again, a Murli full of a lot of love and very practical things. It makes me very aware of how Baba is watching everything that's going on. Baba is seeing us go through all our ups and downs and turns and tangles and roundabouts. And Baba's Murli is then explaining, this is the method, this is a straight highway. You don't need to get lost into alleyways and byways. Just keep your vision focused and you'll move ahead fast. So very, very lovely Murli for us to experiment with. This is a beautiful thing that when I take the Murli as an instruction for experimentation, I see the results. I can feel the results. Others see the results of that too. Okay. Handing over to Aruna.
Yes, gentlemen, thank you so much. So lovely, and I've already got some of my answers, but there's lots of questions today, and I think rightly so. So yes, gentlemen, I always say that, blessings help us to oil the wheels of our life, because as you said, then we don't experience the word difficult. But again, how much importance? I mean, do we have to go around thinking I have to take blessings? Or I just focus on doing the right deed, right? And just the blessings will come, right?
Baba's defined it differently to going around taking blessings. Baba defined it as the hand of Srimad on your head, and those are the blessings. And then if I'm just in a very natural way, understanding Srimad and following Srimad, I'll be earning blessings from everyone. I don't need to ask for blessings. They'll come to me automatically. So a little bit different to the bhakti idea that the hand of blessings is the hand of Srimad.
Yes, gentlemen, and that means following. So if I'm following Srimad at every step, then I've got the hand of blessing, right? That's what it means.
It does, yes.
And what is the difference between asking and begging? So if I'm going, like in Lokik when I went, I mean, I know, but just to clarify, what is the difference?
I don't think anybody goes to their father saying, give me your blessings. I think they just would go out of love and humility and respect and bow their heads or touch their feet, and automatically the senior, the elder would put their hand on their head and say, may you have all blessings. So they didn't ask for them, but it was a natural feeling of love and respect, And the response from the other one was also a very natural one of sharing blessings.
And
So you
it's
didn't ask.
yeah, you don't need to ask either. Yes, that's nice. Thank you, gentlemen. And gentlemen, regarding this point about becoming loveleen and becoming equal, and also this other point about merging, how often can we expect to have these experiences? All the time, or is it just fleeting? Is it once in a while? What do you think?
I think you can cultivate this in your yoga. And so if I'm cultivating that experience and ensuring that when I sit for Baba's remembrance, I'm focused, soul consciousness, connection with Baba, and a conversation with Baba to begin with, maybe, and then allowing Baba's love to reach you and experience being merged in that ocean. And it can be a regular experience every time you sit for yoga. If you're sitting for 2 minutes traffic control, maybe not so easy to come to that stage instantly, but certainly that connection with Baba and feeling Baba's love can come to you every time you connect with Baba. And so it's there. You don't have to ration yourself and say, well, it'll only happen once a week. But no, if my heart is full of love and I sit for remembrance, it's going to be a very lovely experience. And today's Sakar Murli, in which Baba spoke about, let there be yoga filled with depth, with maturity, with understanding. And usually Baba says, let your yoga be filled with love. Let the remembrance be filled with love. So if that's the quality of my yoga, then of course I'm going to be able to have that experience again and again.
And just to doubly clarify, so blessings is that positive energy. It's the energy that's working in flow with the drama, right, gentlemen?
I think in Sangam Yug, it's a little bit more than that. It's the feeling of extra help, extra power, extra love, extra joy coming to you. And yes, of course, you're aligned to the drama because you're aligned with Baba. But I think it's not just going with the flow, but it's that extra help from Baba that's blessings.
And I mean, in terms of cooperation from others as well.
That too. If I'm in that stage in which I'm really deeply connected with Baba, and what I'm doing is not filled with any motive for myself, but it's truly for the benefit of others, benefit for all, then cooperation is going to come flowing from many directions.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we'll move to all these questions. So one person is saying that many times as an instrument, we want to be able to take blessings from everyone. However, sometimes we have to give a correction. And so that person may get upset, even if it's done in the kindest way. So it feels as if we have lost the blessings from that soul because that soul is now sulking. So how to reconcile with this conundrum?
Think about how when the daddies would give us correction, and they didn't hesitate to give us correction, they were very open with it. But you knew that it was genuinely that they loved you and wanted you to progress. And so if it's positioned in that way, not just kindness and softness, but my love for you is that I want you to progress. And this is what's going to help you move forward. If you give this just a little of your attention, you're going to be able to feel the benefit of that. If it's positioned in that way so that it's nothing that's going to make life easier for me, but it's actually something that's going to be of benefit for you. So if it's done in that way, then I think that the other person also feels that, yes, this person doesn't have any other motive and it's not out of their own ego or anger that they're correcting me. If there's a bit of ego there, if there's a bit of anger there, then that also reaches the other, the vibration reaches. But if there's genuinely nothing but good wishes, wishes for benefit for that one, they'll feel that too.
Yes, lovely, gentlemen. Thank you. Is there a hierarchy in imbibing the powers? So should we imbibe one more than the other?
For me, the way that Jagdish Pai had positioned all the different powers in that original image, and after that, I'm sure there have been many, many versions created, but there was a very definite step-by-step logic to all of that. And so the first one was the power to withdraw. And what he was calling withdraw was actually the power of introversion, the power to go within, to withdraw from the world outside, the image of the tortoise. And the last one was the power to cooperate. And so, yes, there's definitely a sequence. And if you want, I can take you through that, but otherwise just look at that original picture in the Raj Yoga illustrations book. And it's step by step by step. And you can develop each of those different qualities finally to get to that stage where there's the power to cooperate with all.
That's very nice, gentlemen. I didn't see it like that. Some souls come with more facilities and others with some difficulties. So where does destiny fit into this? And some souls may leave Baba because of their difficulties.
I'll share a story with you from very early on. In fact, it was the very first training that was held in Madhuban, which was April, May 1969, the first training for teachers for Kumaris. And it was a mixed bunch, 35 of us maybe. And afterwards, when the dadis were sharing, they'd set us an exam. And of course, the exam was not going to be a sort of certificate of any type, but just to give us an idea of what they had observed of us. And the dadis were with us all the time during that period. And there was one particular sister who we thought wasn't so clever, wasn't so capable. And yet she got very high marks from the dadis. And then when there was a little group, not in front of the whole gathering, but within that little group, we asked Dadi Prakashmani, Dadiji, about this particular individual. And we were very happy. We were happy for her that she'd got high marks. And we asked Dadi, what was that based on? And Dadi said, because of the transformation she has had. She came with challenges in her nature, in her sanskars, but she mastered many things and she was able to deal with those sanskars. And so it's not just the level playing ground at the end and everybody, the same in that way, but it's taken into consideration. What is it that you're having to deal with? But also, so that was one thing. But I see how whether I come with external bondages or internal bondages, there are always things that everybody has to deal with. The example we always used to give was of how Mama came a Kumari and Baba came already a retired person. Mama came with nothing. Baba came with all his assets. But yet both were able to become number one and number two, or even we could say both in the first division. And so really drama works in a very interesting way in which you may come with what you think are facilities and a lot of assets, but you have to then go through the whole process of letting go of the ego of all of that and then moving on further. Another person coming with few facilities, few assets, they don't have to deal with that ego. They're already humble. They don't have very much. And so, it's a little bit crude, but you're beginning to see what I'm saying, right? It's clear. So whether it's talents and qualities or sanskar challenges, that story, but also assets, again, doesn't matter. Everybody is Tamo Pradhan. At the end of Kali Yuga, everybody is Tamo Pradhan. Whatever assets you have or facilities you have, doesn't matter. You're Tamo Pradhan. And the other one's also Tamo Pradhan. So the journey is from Tamo Pradhan to Sato Pradhan, not how much I come with or I don't come with.
Yes, gentlemen. And there was a story with Mama where somebody said, this one is very sweet. And Mama said, no, this one is sweeter, because she really became sweet from not being sweet.
Right, correct.
Yes. Okay, gentlemen, here's another question. So again, this point about being free from the disease of, superficial listening, doing tasks, and not being able to do it with the heart. So this is a very unhealthy BK lifestyle, and it could be a very deep sanskar. So how to resolve this, how to be victorious?
I need to talk to myself and ask myself what I really want. And if what I want is a Brahmin life, if what I want is Baba, then I have to follow the Srimad that Baba has given me with my heart. Then I'll be able to actually benefit from belonging to Baba and my Brahmin life. Where I'm not my own teacher and I'm not asking myself the right questions, then everything goes along superficially and there's a lot of time wasted on the part of the self, but also it creates challenges for everybody else around me too. And so the burden of that also comes on me. But if I'm genuine in my desire to belong to Baba and to be a Brahmin, then I need to have this introspection and keep checking and asking, what is it that's going to really make me happy? What is it that I really want?
Right, gentlemen, thank you. Then there is this question about what is is there a difference, gentlemen, between Baba as a power and the powers of Baba? Is there, I don't know if the question makes sense. Baba is the power, or there are Baba and then there's the powers of Baba?
It's both, in that the being who is God, let's go back to the Bhakti word, the being who is God is the Almighty, is the one who is the power, in a sense, behind everything within Sangam Yuga. The whole transformation happens because of God being the powerhouse. And then, yes, there are all the different powers that we're able to experience, and not even just the powers of drawing, withdrawing, or power to pack up, the power to face, etc., etc. But also I see how each one of God's qualities is in itself a power, the power of truth, the power of love, the power of peace. And so I can play with those and experiment and experience those in my own life. But the being who is God is actually the powerhouse that makes the whole of Sangam Yuga function. And the transformation from Kali Yuga to Satyug, the transformation from a life of bondage to Mukti and Jivan Mukti, that all is enabled through God's power.
Right. So, gentlemen, we had a question about being Karmateet. So the question was that do only Karmateet souls go into the advanced party?
There's a difference in Karmateet for each one. It's each one's own stage. And yes, it's the souls who've used Gyan and Yoga to attain their stage now who go into the advanced party. I'm sure that the other Brahmins who have left their bodies, they'll also move forward and they'll also be part of the whole system of bringing about the golden age. But when Baba uses the term advanced party, it really is that these are the souls who are laying the foundation for Satyug. And so the advanced party in that sense. But all the Brahmin souls who've left, they've reached their final stage that they're going to attain, because now there isn't really that sort of time in which to go take a new birth and again have a second life as a Brahmin. They're just not going to get to that point where they're old enough, mature enough to take Gyan once more. Even if they come to Baba as children with their parents, of course, it's very different coming to Baba as a child and coming to Baba as an adult.
Right, gentlemen, thank you. And there was another question, how to transfer limited responsibility to unlimited responsibility.
I have a very lovely example. And Indra of Pune, she became Dadi's right hand. There were other sisters at the center, but Indra was the one who really was deep in Gyan and yoga and surrender. But she had 5 children. And so Baba called them her chickens. And so she said to Dadi, what can I do? I've got to look after my chickens all day long. And so, of course, from a certain age to the littlest one who was born after the father had left the body, actually. So in a way, she dealt with a lot of sorrow at that moment, but she dealt with it. She'd come to Baba about a year earlier before her husband had passed away. And so Dadi said to her, at night, when the last child has gone to sleep, that time is your own. What you can do is to write the classes that you're hearing and write them down. It wasn't carbon copy, it wasn't typewriting, it wasn't photostat machines. This is like 1961, 62, those days, old days. And so she would sit and write the class that she had heard that morning from Dadi, from her notes, and she would write to 4 or 5 of the mothers who were already living abroad, like Rajni Bhen in London, like Hardevi Bhen in Hong Kong, who then became the instrument for the first center in the USA, in Texas. So a few people like this, Savitri Mata, the founder of the Hong Kong Center. So different individuals, Chandra Mata, Jyoti's mother, who was in Cambodia at the time. So Dadi had a list of sisters, mothers who had taken Gyan from her, had traveled abroad, and they were now living there. And so she would sit and for an hour write letters to them filled with Gyan. And that was their sustenance. And then whatever service they've done since then, you can see how things have expanded and grown. And so because she had that desire of wanting to do service, she didn't let all the duties of being a single mother come in the way. Yes, I'm going to look after those responsibilities, but then the rest of the time is my own. Now, this is the time in which I can do unlimited service. And at that time, nobody knew that these mothers were going to be instruments for countries or continents. But she took it on board. It's important service to sustain these souls, and she did that. So a very practical example of changing limited responsibility and becoming aware of the unlimited responsibility of service to the world. And so find something that you can do even whilst you have your Lokik responsibilities, and use your time well. I know some mothers who prepare beautiful blessings. I know some mothers who, in Brazil, for example, they make wonderful packaging for tolis. And so the toli is, of course, lovely, but the packaging is so beautiful that you don't want to open it. So find something to do and your creativity will grow. Writing blessings, go through the Avyakt Murli books and take phrases from that to turn it into a blessing. So churning. lots of different things that each one can do, even if it's not a vocal service with others. Maybe that also is now possible with Zoom, but find some way to use your time for unlimited service.
Yeah, lovely, gentlemen. Thank you. Next question. Can we say that some part of the dynamic of receiving blessings would also be accepting the vision that Baba has on me? And then we also, having this vision of faith on another, that would be a definition of giving blessings then.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Baba's faith in us and the Dadi's faith in us that has made us what we are today. And that was a very, very big blessing, that faith and that trust. And so, yes, surely I can keep that vision of each one's speciality and have that faith in them and that trust in them, that yes, that's what you're going to grow into. It's a very big blessing.
Yes, lovely. Some of the questions, they have been answered before, and also Baba has taken them up. So if I'm not asking them, this is my logic. Okay, when a decision is made on one side, but the other person doesn't agree, should we wait and see what drama has to unfold or debate on the topic more?
It depends. If the two are equal in terms of gyan, yoga, service experience, and so on, then yes, it's good to just say, okay, well, if not now, maybe later, and then see what drama brings. But sometimes there is definitely the whole subject of somebody with a lot of experience and someone with not so much experience. So when it's that sort of situation, then it's maybe very good to have an open-hearted discussion. Well, always it's good to have open-heart discussion, but especially when there's that sort of difference in terms of experience, then the one without experience can explain why it is they're motivated to do this, and the one with the experience can explain what are the pitfalls and why it's important to put A, B, C into place before that situation. So I don't think I can give you a yes or no answer for that, but it just depends on who are the actors involved in that particular story. I know one particular group of souls who are the national coordinating team in that country, and they'll have a discussion, then go around the circle to see what decision they should make. And if there's unanimity, fine. And if there isn't, they'll say, okay, now we've heard each other's ideas, maybe people will have a different opinion. And so they go around the circle again. And if there still isn't any clarity or unanimous decision, they'll say, wait, let's see what drama brings. So it's a good way to deal with it. But the other also happens, that sometimes there is a lot of experience, and it's important to be able to listen to that experience.
Yes, lovely. Thank you, gentlemen. And then somebody's asking about the blessing from the Murli. And there's a particular line where Baba says, because some duties become the illness of attachment. Are you okay, or do you want me to repeat some of the blessing?
No, it's part of that same limited and unlimited responsibility.
Yeah.
So within that, what Baba's meaning is, I sometimes call something my duty, but in fact it's not. It's my attachment. I'll give an example that came to me yesterday. And I heard about, I've never met this woman, but I was hearing her background and her story from another person. And apparently she's cooking for her son, and it's unclean food, it's non-vegetarian food. And in my imagination, I thought, maybe he's in his teens. I didn't think he was any younger, but I thought he was in his teens. And then as we unraveled the story further, it turns out he's 35 and he's got a wife, but she doesn't know how to do Indian cooking, and he prefers his mother's Indian cooking. And I thought to myself, my goodness, this is ultimate attachment, where And of course, this person has taken only a very little bit of gyan, but that's one example that they're ready to forget about, even in bhakti. You know, the Gita talks about if you buy that stuff, if you cook that stuff, if you eat that stuff, all of that along the line is a burden on your head. So even in bhakti, there's this concept, at least in Bharat. And the son is 30 something, he's got a wife, and yet the mother feels responsible to cook this stuff for him. Now, that's not duty, that is sheer attachment. And so let me see, where is it duty ends and attachment begins? Because very often I don't have to do the things I think I do. Again, another story of mothers and sons, and the son was in 20s, but the mother still felt she had to drive him to the station so that he could catch his train to go to work, and she was ready to miss class for the sake of the son. And, you know, these are the sort of things that I hear and I say, well, how much gyan does this person have? How much have they understood?
Yes, genuine. And we do have questions, but we will stop here. But I would like to say that Sister Jayanti is taking a session in, I think 7:30. Yeah, 7:30 tonight, UK time. Right, gentlemen?
No, 5:30, and it's just 15 minutes with a churning group.
Yeah, so anyway, they have asked if we can put the link. So whoever would like to join that can join that. Sister Jayanti will be meeting the participants of the churning and writing retreat for a short time. So everyone's welcome to that. Thank you.
So UK time 5:30, maybe it's your time 7:30.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So thank you, gentlemen, for another amazing session. I always have to go back and actually, listen to it again because I'm so focused on other things as well.
Sure.
Yeah, but lovely. It's always lovely to hear you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. And now we will have a meditation.
A teardrop falls into the ocean. This world is so full of greed. I cannot swim in these waters. Beloved, please carry me. Rallying up waves of emotion, guide my soul through this storm. Show me the way with your mercy. with me.